Have you ever been lost in the woods? You know, you go for a walk, it's a nice day, but then it starts to get dark, and when you're in the woods, it gets dark quickly, and you kind of can't tell what time of day it is, and then you panic a little bit, and then you maybe start eating some of your clothes, and then you just set fire to anything you can find or anything you've got just for warmth, for heat. Of course you haven't. I mean, of course, no one would know anyone who did anything like that. It's not. This is a video about a game called Kingdom.
Kingdom is a game where you slowly build a mini kingdom by putting coins in things that people then come and build, and you defend yourself against lots of little monsters. The monsters come in waves, and eventually you die or you keep running away and you win. But Kingdom starts with the deception of a horse, the most deceptive, of course, of all animals. The horse here gives you a sense that it's a game about travelling, when in fact, Kingdom isn't. But if you look closely at this horse while you clop around on it happily, then you do get a great sense of what Kingdom is. Specifically, you need to look at the horse's stamina and the way it just runs out of puff. And when's it going to get its energy back? Well, I don't know. There's no 5 pop-up carrots here, or no energy bar that pops up onto the screen. The only way you can work out when your horse is going to be able to start running again is by listening to its breathing.
A lot of Kingdom is about purposeful obfuscation. Things aren't shown, things aren't explained, and that can occasionally be a little bit frustrating in a game which is about economic management of what you're going to spend your money on. Well, I don't really know how much money I've got.
Initially, this obfuscation is kind of annoying, maybe, and yet largely what this lack of clarity does is it minimises your ability as a player to become laser focused on the careful bean counting that sits at the heart of this game and most games. And so Kingdom's design weirdly has a lot in common with meditation practices. You know, it knows that your mind will gravitate towards the busy, the whirring mechanical mission to solve the puzzle that's in front of you, but it tries to help you shift your focus away from that, to simply enjoy the moments of the game as presented, rather than fixating wholly on what's next. Kingdom is actively designed in some ways to have these moments of static peace, these moments of pause. It's a game where when you stop moving your character around, the character doesn't twitch awkwardly waiting for something to happen. The camera simply snaps off to one side, allows you to take a moment to just enjoy the scene. Probably my favourite thing about Kingdom is the way that your money is presented. Your money is shown on screen as being coins inside a physical pouch. And that means you don't really know how much money you've got, unless you've got very little. Just 2 or 3 coins. And so you find out if you can afford things in the game by putting money up into these slots. You hold down a button and the coins pop up in to fill up the slots. And if you haven't got enough, then all these coins just drop down to the ground in unison. It's such a simple but unbelievably beautiful little touch, a consolation prize, and another wedge of wonder on the money front. The upper limit of the cash you can hold in the game isn't fixed, it's not exact. Each coin that you pick up is dropped into the pouch from above. And when your pouch is filled near the top, it means coins sometimes balance on top and you get to keep it, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes they slip off the top, bouncing onto the ground, or bouncing off into the river, lost forever. It's this refusal to embrace busy design that makes me love Kingdom. For a long time, it feels like 1/3 of the screen is used for nothing more in the game than just a reflection of the sky. Although, after a while, you realise it does have a purpose. It just isn't a terribly busy one. There aren't pop-ups, etc. There's not too much information. Really, it just serves as a wet bin.
Of course, when you put coins in my bath, they're not gone forever. They're just mine because you put them in my bath. Why did you do that? Could you leave? Actually, I'm about to have a bath.
But the river in Kingdom only really serves a small purpose. It's what we see reflected in this river that serves the wider purpose in the game. The sky represents really the heart of Kingdom, an aesthetically minimal world in which almost every detail projects small amounts of vital information.
And all these vague details together allow you to just focus on being in this world. You know, thinking about the rough weight of your pouch. No, dads, The huffing of your horse. How tired is it, roughly? You think I've got another... I don't know. Or the fact that you sometimes don't see things. Just walking back to the other half of your kingdom and finding rubble and dejected, dirty villagers telling a story of a battle that you weren't there to witness. But most of all, you've got the sun always behind you, slowly rising and falling, telegraphing when it is safe for you to be out there exploring in the woods and when it's starting to get late and when it's time to go home.
And yet, as you get deeper into the woods, they obscure the sky, leaving you losing track of time. And night's about to fall, and you're so far out, and the dread slowly creeps in, congealing around your heart like a malevolent custard. I've got to get back, I've got to get back. And even when you're playing it safe, the sky has a mind of its own. Weather cycles imbue these static locations with a compelling, driving sense of narrative. Clear, crisp days have you riding off with hope, while foggy mornings hide the sun from view, forcing you to clop around with a much greater sense of trepidation. And some of the concepts in Kingdom that it wants you to get aren't really communicated clearly enough, and there's things you miss without looking up stuff online. But aside from these small missteps, the overall lack of communication with the player is excellent. And I know that in a post-Dark Souls world, it's easy for any tosser like me to just say, hey, look, it's great because you have to work it out for yourself and that's fun. But listen, what I love about Kingdom is many of the aspects that you do have to work out just feel obvious, they feel innate, and that's because there's a role-playing element to this. Of course, you collect taxes from the people, you go to the woods to pray at strange altars. A lot of the small puzzles of the game just make sense if you stop and think about it. And it's strange, but almost understandable that the game's spell that it casts over you while you're in it almost falls apart on account of the design of what it is. These increasingly powerful waves of enemies will overwhelm you if you've not made the right choices.
Poof! You're no longer in a meditative space. No, some little men came along, trashed everything, game over, you're dead. Yeah, unfortunately it was all just a sort of a nice relaxing spell. Turns out you were just playing a video game.
Thankfully, there's a free expansion version called Kingdom Newlands that is basically just the same game but better. And in this one, the ticking time bomb that signals your demise is pushed back by mechanics that see you escaping these lands, sailing off to new ones on a boat. And while this solution allows you to outrun the destruction that breaks the spell of the game, it strangely also diminishes Kingdom's sense of place, replacing one constant world with a series of places that you, as a player, frankly begin to see more as being video game levels. And that's the one weird criticism I have of Kingdom. It's beautiful, a meditative gem of a thing that sometimes feels like it's losing a battle against the inherent traditional game mechanics that exist at the core of its design. Much like the excellent Sunless Sea, it's almost a reflection of the incompatibility of digital absolutes with the broad strokes and fuzziness of emotional experiences.
When I say emotional experiences, it doesn't have to be extremes, It's not like I'm talking about playing a video game that makes you so sad that you literally have to sit with a small towel on your lap just because you're crying so much. That's ridiculous. Who would ever do that? Listen, Lost Odyssey was very upsetting. What is that noise? Who keeps doing this?
Anyway, emotional experiences don't need to be bang pow or Jesus on a jet ski, I'm really sad. Again, video games and the tendency to make everything binary. In Kingdom, the emotional experience is muted. It's mostly just about chilling out. Sometimes with mild fear, sometimes with mild melancholy, sometimes with a horse. What could possibly be more natural? And it turns out that chilling out perhaps isn't compatible with the absolutes of survival or death. This is coincidentally why Destiny, a game I love very much, is as easy as a big slice of piece of piss pie. And that's fine.
Anyway, video games, despite frequently being in conflict with themselves, aren't they lovely? Bye! So listen, if you've enjoyed this video, here's a couple of things you can do. If you're on YouTube, then why don't you just subscribe and like it? It's just a couple of buttons. Jesus, what's your problem? Otherwise, you go to coolghost.net where people are having conversations about this video. They're just a bit more verbose, a bit more interesting than you'll find on YouTube. Sorry, YouTube. I mean, everybody knows that comments are just a bit rubbish. Anyway, also, if you really, really like the work that we do, you can go to patreon.com/coolghosts and you can fund it because it's crowdfunded. It's 2017, the world's falling apart. What are you going to do? Have a lovely day.